Pulleys come in 4 sizes. This little tiny one, this one's a little bit bigger. And then the next size up has some holes to connect. And this one's the biggest. It's about the size of the medium gear. You've got 4 different sizes of bands. You've got a small one, medium one, and a large one. Actually, that's 3 sizes. I lied. You can hook them, chain them together. So this has bands, one between each set of pulleys. So there's one here, here, and here. Then when I turn the axle located in that middle pulley, all 4 pulleys turn together. So that way you can offset where your motor is and where your turning actually happens. This is a turntable gear. It's 3 pieces. You've got 2 pieces on the outside, and then the turntable goes on the inside. The turntable gear holds tight together if you hook them on the same side of a 1x1 pin, but it's too tight, and usually the center and the turntable won't turn separately if you do that. So I usually recommend putting either a 1x1, 1x2, or 2x2, but with the piece in the middle, the larger part on the connector being in the middle, that gives you a little bit of space and allows the turntable to turn freely. There's 2 sizes. The small one can attach to a plate and the center hole will still line up for a gear shaft. The big one does not work that well. This one's got the large turntable and it's got 3 pulleys. And the motor is in the back on the top pulley there. So it's got a lifter that's just a normal geared lifter, but the pulleys are turning the turntable gear, so the claw is rotating 360 degrees. So there's one pulley that's below the turntable gear that's attached. There's a little bit of space on the turntable gear. That's allowing the centerpiece to move pretty well. And the motor is on the very back, which allows it to offset the weight a little bit. So the center or the outside of the turntable gear can be the part that moves. In this example, the outside is the part that moves and the center is stationary. So if we deconstruct it, you can see how it's put together. Our center gear, we've got some standoffs attached to the center. And then we've got some standoffs attached to the motor, which is attached to a plate there. And I put some little wings on there so you could see that it was turning. It looks a little bit like a helicopter. You'll notice some space between the plates on the turntable gear. It's attached by either 1x1s, which stick out a little bit on the top and the bottom, or 2x2s, which means we can attach stuff to the top and the bottom. On the bottom there's a lock plate, which gives us something to hook our shaft onto for our motor. And then we've got the standoffs, and we're attaching it up here with some standoff connectors to the 2x2s. The last example I want to show you is an arm that can turn 360 degrees with a turntable gear. On top of the turntable there is a wheel without the treads on it. It's just the middle part of a wheel. And you can see as long as he doesn't tangle up his wire, he can turn 360 degrees. And then the lifter arm has chain and sprocket drive, which allows me to put the motor down further and keep the center of gravity low, and also allows me to gear it so I've got a small sprocket and a large sprocket so that it's slower and tougher. So there's a close-up view of it. That the turntable gear is put together the same way. Both of the second examples use the smaller turntable gear because it's easier to attach onto things.